I am Pokimane's boyfriend, aka Shelbo99, aka Shelby Jacobs,
aka the most deranged man on Twitch. Failed content creator Shelbo99 has just become homeless after giving all of his money to streamer Pokimane. Now, we've encountered this situation already a few years ago when another Pokimane fan actually went homeless after donating all of his life savings to her Twitch account. But this time it's actually so much worse, because after a Pokimane impersonator contacted him, Shelbo genuinely convinced himself that he is in a loving relationship with Pokimane, and he's absolutely certain that they will have their perfect dream wedding soon, even though it's blatantly obvious to absolutely everyone that he's giving all of his money to a catfish and that the love of his life, Pokimane, does not even know who he is. Now, this is definitely one of the most insane lolcow stories I have ever covered, but despite that, I am not here to just ridicule this man today. Instead, I do actually want to dive deep into his story, because analyzing his path on YouTube opens up a bunch of interesting conversations about delusional people convincing themselves that they are full-time content creators, and about parasocial relationships with your favorite Twitch streamers. Now, Shelby Jacobs is a 33-year-old man from Texas who claims to have been making content online under the alias Shelbo99 for over 7 years, even though I highly doubt that this is actually true, considering his oldest videos are from less than 2 years ago, and based on their overall quality, they generally feel like his first videos, because the sound, editing, thumbnails, everything is just terrible. Now, my favorite piece of early Shelbo content is definitely his motivational video right here, where he talks about applying to different jobs.
I'm pretty proud of this recent accomplishment. I put in some applications for a few companies. I'm not going to say where, I'm not going to say who, for CEO and vice president positions. They have considered my application. That's already a win in my book.
Now, that's a true GigaChat mindset. Instead of applying to work at a company like a reasonable person would, he immediately goes for the CEO position instead. That's because you gotta dream big to win big. Now, in reality, this guy probably applied to be the CEO of Apple, and the only thing they were actually considering was whether to throw the application in the trash or set it on fire, because this guy cannot get a job anywhere. Over on his LinkedIn page, he claims to be self-employed ever since 2017, working as a full-time content creator and streamer. Now, let me translate this for you. Shelbo has been unemployed since 2017, because the rise of the internet and the idea of working as an influencer becoming mainstream has led to some delusional people thinking that they can just start calling themselves content creators, but the reality here is you need to put in a lot of work to actually do this and be willing to learn a lot about social media, and these people have no clue how to run a social media business. Shelbo has been producing terrible content for years without getting anywhere. He's literally a clone of the main character in that Spree movie, yet he is somehow deranged enough to call himself a full-time content creator with 7 years of experience, despite none of his channels even being monetized and him taking year-long vacations from streaming. Up to last year, all of his videos actually still had a massive Filmora watermark, but sure, this is definitely a serious full-time endeavor. You have been doing this for 7 years and you have 400 subs. You're not a YouTuber, you're just unemployed. You need to get an actual job. Now, his website is where this delusion enters borderline lolcow territory, because despite having accomplished absolutely nothing on YouTube with his low quality slop videos, he actually offers video production services. You can get him to edit a video for only $100 an hour. So if I wanted this guy to edit one of my videos, assuming he'd roughly do it at my speed, then I'd have to pay him $700 and I would receive a video with a giant Filmora watermark. But it gets even more egregious. You can also ask him to manage your social media starting at $1,000 per hour. This guy is charging 1K for one of the easiest jobs on the planet, and he couldn't even spell manager right. Now, me personally, instead of the social media option, I would instead recommend you book him as your financial advisor. It's an absolute steal at only $6,000 for 45 minutes, and again, he didn't even spell it right. He's seriously demanding 6K for a 45-minute financial advisor advice session. I can already tell you what the lesson is gonna be. You're gonna join the call and he'll explain to you that the number one way to saving money is to not hand over thousands of dollars to a stranger on the internet for literally no work. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but this guy is homeless right now, so you would be paying 6K to get financial advice from an actual homeless person. This is 100% a massive scam. Now, I will say the funniest part of this website is that you can actually get him to cook you something for only $20, and that's what I call an actual bargain. Also, one of the most entertaining videos on the website is his journey to the Streamer Awards. You know, the massive event exclusive to only the most successful and most politically correct streamers. Shelbo claims that he was actually gonna be one of the attendees, cause he's a famous Twitch streamer after all. So he put on his best suit and filmed himself flying to California, only to arrive at the airport and say this.
So I made it to California, but unfortunately I wasn't actually able to make it to the Streamers Awards, but thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
And when asked why he didn't end up making it there, he blamed it on Uber problems. Man, it's such a shame that Shelbo's Uber didn't show up, otherwise I'm certain he would have won Newcomer of the Year over Frogan, since he definitely got invited to the event and didn't just fly to California for no reason. Now, in all seriousness, he was obviously never invited to this event because he's an actual nobody with zero fans, and his delusion seemed to come from a one-time appearance he had on an OTK stream where people surprisingly really liked the guy despite him coming across as a bit unhinged. Now, I'm gonna be honest here, I'm certain that Shelbo isn't just delusional. I actually think that he's downright schizophrenic. Like, he's 100% suffering from severe mental illnesses, which explains his irrational behavior, because Shelbo has made several videos claiming that witchcraft is real.
They are practicing witchcraft. They began to come into our apartment, sending their spirits into our apartment. People, witchcraft is real. Demons are real. In fact, they are two of the same.
Listen, I don't usually care about what people believe in, like not even in a religious way, just in general. Like if you believe in ghosts or the Loch Ness monster or whatever, I'm not gonna waste my time arguing with you. But I will say that if you think witchcraft is real in 2025, I severely question your mental stability. Now, the reason why I believe Shelbo is actually schizophrenic isn't just based on his belief in witchcraft, but also on some clear symptoms he shows in some of his videos.
As I began to make my videos, moving forward to 2020, stop doing that. Moving forward to 2020. Look, they still don't get it. They're idiots. Yes, I'm calling you an idiot. You ain't even trying to listen. Oh, it's to say, you know what? Fuck you.
Now, as you just saw, he clearly held back his own screams and argued with himself there. These are obvious symptoms of schizophrenia, and he also went on to say this in the same video.
As I was going to work one morning, and someone started speaking to me. And you think, oh, that's pretty normal. No, there was nobody else there. So what they call those supernatural encounters.
Now, if someone's speaking to you and they're not actually there, then you're just imagining them. Shelbo clearly arrived at the wrong conclusion here. This is not a supernatural experience, it's an obvious indicator that he's schizophrenic. Now, this puts all of his actions into context. His mental condition is what's making him act irrationally. This does kind of mean that fundamentally the American healthcare system failed this man, because he definitely should be either locked up in a mental facility or be taking medication for his condition. He should not be able to even be a streamer on the internet or around other people without medication, in my opinion. Now, we're about to get into his interactions with Pokimane, and even though I do blame the American healthcare system partially, and I do have some sort of empathy for people with his condition, at the end of the day, this guy is not only scamming people, but he has been severely harassing Pokimane, which he definitely deserves to be called out for. You absolutely cannot use your mental limitations to justify your disgusting behavior. Even even though again it kind of puts it into context. So let's now get into the Pokimane arc. Now the signs have always been there that this guy liked Pokimane a lot, because he actually bought her overpriced cookies and attached the receipt to his wall, which definitely shows that he's a dedicated fan. And obviously his Twitter banner is just Pokimane, but he really went off the deep end a couple of months ago when he uploaded a love song to Pokimane.
Alright, that's what I got for you today. I know there's no words, but no words can describe you.
Listen dude, I don't think Pokimane is massively attractive or anything, but look at you and then look at her. Do you really believe that you're gonna win her over by playing the guitar? Well, apparently he did, because his next course of action ended up being proposing to her not once but twice, uploading the banger video at Pokimane Will You Marry Me?
Iman, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever met in my entire life. Each and every day with you is better than the last. It's just like fine wine. It's just like honey and the honeycomb. And you know what? I want to ask you a question. Will you marry me?
I want to say that I love you. And what better way to say that I love you than to say, Iman Inez, will you marry me?
Shelbo has got to be the biggest go-getter of all time. When he applies for a job, he immediately goes for the CEO position, and when he finds himself wanting to get with a woman, he instantly proposes before even talking to her. Honestly, this schizo mentality is incredibly entertaining. Now obviously after he publicly posted these proposals, people were calling him out for seeming to be even more deranged than usual, so he came out and clarified that he isn't just proposing to a random streamer that he doesn't even know, but instead he's actually been dating Pokimane for quite some time.
I am Pokimane's boyfriend, aka Shelbo99, aka Shelby Jacobs.
I know she says she's single on social media, but guys, she is not single. She is taken. I know she likes to keep up her image saying that she's single and everything, but I am in a relationship with her.
Now this is obviously just completely deranged behavior. He has deluded himself into believing that he is dating Pokimane, but I'm actually gonna humor this guy's logic for a second here. So you're saying that Pokimane wants to keep your relationship private, yet you're going out there announcing it to the globe. Like, aren't you straight up going against her wishes there? Like, even if you were in a real relationship, you would be a terrible boyfriend. This guy's absolutely not husband material. Now he then explains that his attraction to Pokimane was love at first sight.
This journey began a long time ago when I first saw Pokimane's Twitch channel. And I kind of knew it was love at first sight.
And it's honestly scary that there are probably a lot more people out there who could have the same mindset. Delusional people that just turn on a Twitch stream and immediately fall in love with the person they see on the screen, despite that person never even knowing of their existence, or at best knowing them by a random username in their chat. These sort of parasocial relationships have always interested me. I think my first commentary video might have actually been an essay on that exact phenomenon. It's such a fascinating concept to me, but obviously pairing parasocial attachment with schizophrenia is like mixing flames with diesel. So in Shelbo's case, he's pretty much cooked, because he actually deluded himself into thinking that Pokimane is talking to him directly in some of her tweets.
When she would say certain things on Twitter, like give me a hug, I love you guys. She was really saying it to me.
So he sees tweets like this and actually believes that she's talking specifically to him, the unattractive 33-year-old who tags her in shirtless photos. Like, the level of delusion here is just outrageous. He has genuinely convinced himself that he's dating Pokimane, and I don't think it's even possible to get through to him and try and give him like a reality check, because he's just too deep in this rabbit hole. He can't bring himself to accept reality, and I do honestly believe that it's kind of sad, because I don't think he even has anyone left in his life that could even step in here. Now, one thing I want to highlight is his story of how he allegedly met Pokimane.
On October 26th, 2025 is when she officially started talking to me. I asked her to marry me on social media on Twitter, and she DMs me.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. So you're actually saying that you only started talking to who you think is Pokimane after you asked her to marry you, meaning your proposal to her was your first interaction with this woman. Again, the delusion is just so insane. How can you propose to a person you have never talked to? This guy's mindset is outrageously deranged.
And she DMs me on her Pokimane LLL1 account, on her alt account. And she starts talking to me.
I can't believe it. After all these months, after all these years that I've been talking to her, DMing her, nothing. And finally she responds to me. Now here's the funny part about it, and I've said this before. She asked me for $70. I'm thinking to myself, okay, wait a minute. If this is Pokimane, why is she asking me for $70? I block her. I blocked her. And I thought about it. I said, okay, wait a minute. Maybe this is her, so let me unblock her.
Man, he was so close. He could have just kept her blocked and avoided humiliating himself, but instead he chose the bad ending. So this fills in some of the gaps in his story. He apparently received messages from an obvious scammer pretending to be Pokimane, and due to Shelbo's desperation and sheer schizophrenia, he actually fell for the scam. Even after at first correctly determining that this wasn't actually the real Pokimane, he still went back to chatting with her in the end. He even sent this person who he believes to be Pokimane all of his money. Now some people will say, oh, that's poetic justice because he's scamming people himself, while others will blame the scammer for ruining this guy's life even further. But I honestly don't even care about him getting scammed. I'm more so interested in discussing the sheer levels of delusion that have to be going on in this guy's head for him to keep on sending money to who he believes to be Pokimane. Like, Pokimane is known as this incredibly famous Twitch streamer with endless resources and wealth, and Shelbo is just some unemployed guy living in low-income housing. Like, at some point, wouldn't you at least question why the famous rich person keeps asking you specifically for cash?
She is very, very attractive. She attracted me very easily. Very easily. Just like she's doing right now. We have been having lots of discussions in the bedroom. Lots of discussions in the bedroom. Does that make her anything less of a woman? Absolutely not. It makes her more of a woman, and I love her for it. We just celebrated our 1-month anniversary. And we kind of celebrated it. By getting naked. By getting naked on camera.
Now, I hate to break the news to Shelbo, but you are most likely sexting with a 12-year-old from Bangladesh, and you're not only getting scammed, but you have also now given him material he can use to blackmail you. Again, this guy is just getting absolutely played here by someone taking advantage of his mental illness, and Shelbo has actually shared some of his DMs with this person, as well as other people claiming to be Twitch streamers on secret alt accounts, and honestly, the impersonation isn't convincing at all. Like, literally only a completely deranged person would fall for this, but unfortunately for Shelbo, that's exactly what he is, because he then went on to reveal that his marriage proposal actually got rejected by Pokimane.
Now, where this all began is when I asked her to marry me. You may have saw the video that I put out. I asked her to marry me, and she said no. She DM'd me, and I asked her to marry me, and she said no, which is fine. I wasn't broken up about it. And here's the reason why. She kept talking to me afterwards, which let me know that she absolutely still liked me.
Shelbo is the most determined man on the planet. Even the scammer rejected his proposal, yet he still kept on trying to marry Pokimane. Like, the sheer determination some of these crackheads have is just beyond me. I mean, if I asked someone to marry me multiple times and I got declined over and over again, I would just give up. But Shelbo, his perseverance paid off, because in a video responding to someone critical of Pokimane, he claimed to now actually be married to her.
Fuck you for coming after her. Don't nobody come after her or anything like that. I will guarantee I will beat the shit out of you. That is my wife you're messing with. End of story.
Now he's kind of flip-flopping on this whole wife thing. Sometimes he calls Pokimane his wife, sometimes he just says they're engaged, sometimes he claims Poki is his girlfriend. But what's clear here is that he genuinely believes 100% that he is in a relationship with Pokimane, despite never even meeting her in real life. This is already some prime lol cow content, but let's get into how this actually made him homeless. But before that, I have a big announcement to make. Firstly, if you don't sub to the channel right now, I will tell Shelbo that you are being possessed through witchcraft, and the only way to save you is to come to your house and cut you open to get the spells out. So if you don't want to be cut open, subscribe. But also, my goal is to hit 1.5k subs this March, and if we manage to reach it, I will do a massive Q&A. So any questions you have, just put them down below. I will compile them all for a big Q&A video. Anyway, back to Shelbo becoming homeless. Now Shelbo already found himself in quite a difficult financial situation, considering that he's, unemployed and giving all of his life savings to a Pokimane impersonator. But he then made the absolutely horrible decision to spontaneously fly out to California to meet up with Pokimane to attend the Grammys together. And predictably, this resulted in Shelbo becoming homeless, which he announced in this amazing video right here.
I want to experience it. How is it to be homeless? And you know what, guys? It's not good at all. It is not good at all because you have to fend for yourself. You don't know where your next meal is coming from or anything like that.
I wanted to experience homelessness, turns out it's bad. Absolutely groundbreaking scientific experiment by Shelbo. It's like me conducting a test to see what happens when I stab myself in the thigh with a butter knife and then walking away with the conclusion that it hurts. Like, this is such a ridiculously obvious statement to make. Now in reality, this guy spent his last money on a plane ticket, flew out to California to meet up with Pokimane. She didn't show up because he's obviously not talking to the real Pokimane, which left him alone in California and with no food or shelter. But again, he can't admit that, so he has to come up with something else to keep the delusion going, which is why he's now claiming that he just wanted to experience homelessness for himself, meaning that this financial advisor is currently homeless because he spent all of his money on a fake Pokimane. You absolutely cannot make this shit up. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, Shelbo then also lost all of his belongings, including Pokimane's wedding ring, by leaving his backpack on a public bus.
So basically, when I got off the bus, the 120, if you guys know that bus, and I ended up leaving my backpack on the bus, so I lost all of my clothes and belongings, and I lost my wife's wedding ring on the bus as well, which kind of hurt me.
Again, this guy is just taking L after L. He's now homeless, lost his engagement ring he probably spent thousands of dollars on, and he can't even get anyone to help him out. He launched a GoFundMe where he now suddenly states that he's out of work, which I gotta admit is quite interesting considering he claims to be working as a full-time content creator, social media manager, and financial advisor over on his LinkedIn. Yeah, I wonder why he doesn't have any money. It's almost like those weren't real jobs to begin with. Anyway, his GoFundMe failed miserably with not a single person donating, which I gotta say fills me with some hope for humanity. At the very least, no one gave their money to this absolute psychopath. Now, predictably, him becoming homeless got him kind of mad at Pokimane. He tweeted at her demanding his money back and also released his first negative video about her, but it still wasn't enough to get him to outright break up with his imaginary girlfriend, as he still went on to celebrate their 4-month anniversary, all while spelling the name of his wife wrong. Like, come on, man, it took me one Google search to find out Pokimane's real name is Iman Enis, not Iman Ains. Surely, as her soon-to-be husband, you should at least know what her real name is. Like, the level of delusion here, it just blows my mind. This guy has just gone homeless in another state, trying to chase after this woman who obviously doesn't know he even exists, but he's still delusional enough to be convinced that they're in a relationship. Like, you are literally living on the street and your millionaire wife isn't even trying to support you. How is that not a red flag? I mean, he even went on to say that he doesn't know where Pokimane lives, and he actually thinks that's a good thing.
So I'm sitting here, don't know where she lives, which is probably for the best.
Now, this is the first statement I actually agree with. I do think you shouldn't know her location because you would probably show up at her house to harass her. But again, we have to look at this from his perspective. He has never seen this woman in his life. He doesn't even know where she lives. He doesn't know her real name, but all of that, it doesn't raise a red flag. Like, he's still 100% convinced that they're in a serious, loving relationship. This is why I believe that this man is just too far gone for anyone to be able to reason with him, and that he just really needs to be put either into a mental facility or under severe medication. Now, obviously, with the story coming out, there have been a lot of differing opinions, with some people showing sympathy to Shelbo because of his mental illness, while others just flat out troll and ridicule the guy. I mean, the top comment under his latest video is literally a commentary orbiter sarcastically writing a paragraph in support of Shelbo's relationship with Pokimane. Now, Furin himself has been exposed as an e-bagger, so he's kind of sitting in a glass house here here, but I will say that overall, I can understand people wanting to ridicule this guy, but I think at the end of the day, it's not really important what we do. It only matters what Pokimane does, because she's the one that could potentially be negatively affected if this unhinged maniac just keeps on harassing and stalking her. Now, I am going to let you in on a secret. Every content creator has people like Shelbo in their DMs. Obviously not to this extent, but there's indisputably a bunch of deranged people in everyone's DMs. That's just the nature of the internet. I mean, I'm basically a complete nobody who doesn't even show his face, and even I have 2 people on Twitter excessively spamming my DMs with hate and inappropriate deranged messages. So I am positive that this happens to everybody, especially to Twitch streamers, because they usually build a strong bond with their audience. Now, the best way to combat this problem, in my opinion, is to just ignore it. Don't give them any attention, because in their warped mind, any sort of acknowledgement, even a completely negative one like a flat out block, will still fuel their delusional parasocial relationship, because something like blocking confirms that you're aware of them, and with these people you just gotta completely play ignorant until they eventually give up, because a block might even flip them into becoming obsessive haters, which would be even worse for your safety considering how just deranged these people truly are. This is the type of situation where you just gotta wait for the government to do its job and lock this guy up, because I genuinely believe that Shelbo needs to be put in a mental institution. Like, he's definitely a menace to society, or at the very least he needs some serious medication and he needs it now. Well, alternatively, someone could maybe try and send him like an AI video of Pokimane breaking up with him. That might actually work. But yeah, as of the time of this recording, Shelbo is currently live on Twitch building his homeless shelter, and I am very interested to hear your take about this situation. Are Shelbo and Pokimane the new power couple of Twitch? Make sure to let me know down below. Sub to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed, follow me on Twitter, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, last minute addition. This is breaking news. I have just received word of there being a Pokimane response. Let's see what she has to say.
Nigga, you ain't funny. That's not true. Maybe you're just boring as fuck and lame as hell. Cause only lame niggas say that shit.